Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is another session of Blades in the Dark. Last time, our crew had a significantly successful job uh, uh, in which they were able to complete their primary tasks and some secondary tasks. The one person did get away, but they did manage to eliminate the mages, and they were paid well for that. So today, what we're going to be doing is we already dealt with heat last time and the contacting your patron to help you take care of that. We did experience last time. So I'll be checking with people in case people have gotten new abilities or things like that they want to talk about. But we're going to do the downtime, and then we'll do the crew advancement, and then we'll do the crew expansion. Because I believe last time we talked about we're going to expand the size of that. We're going to resolve what that looks like today in terms of what choices. And then we're also going to RP to take a look at what that is like. And then we'll kind of come back to our characters and kind of figure out what kind of job we want to do for the final job for this series. So that's kind of that's the agenda for today. That's what we're going to do. And we kind of take up where's everybody at health and stress wise? Stitch, where are you at? You look
Oh,
like you're uninjured.
I'm uninjured. Yes, I
Okay.
am.
Uh,
But I am a bit stressed out.
yeah, yeah. And Sigil, you still got the
Nearly, nearly stressed out. I have a level one arm that's half healed, halfway through the healing.
okay. And I don't believe anybody drank their healing potions.
Nope.
Nope. So those are still in play. And Halen, you're a little less stressed,
Yeah, a little less.
a little less, but you still have that injury. What do you want to describe that injury as? I think you got it in that fight against that mage last time.
Mm, yeah. Uh, Miscellaneous scrapes and bruises.
Okay, just the general
Stuff you'd expect from getting
playground
in a fight.
wounds. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, uh, with that in mind, Stitch, what would you like to do for your first downtime action?
I think I need to unmute myself and release stress.
Okay. Uh, so you've made some friends in the local
Hmm.
area, you've made some contacts and things like
Hmm.
that. You're still kind of on that. So tell us what
Hmm.
it looks like when you go to relieve that stress.
I think, yeah, I think, what do I do to relieve that? Who do I want to hang out with? I think I want to hang out with people who, have some small, capability of doing magic. Right? Not the big mages, not the ones that are in affection or anything, just the people who have a little household magic, who they do a trick or two, and just talk to them.
So there are street mages that have
Fine.
words and things like that, but
Hmm.
there are people who have a little bit of hedge magic, a little
Hmm.
bit of minor things that they've picked up, uh, talents brought from foreign places because we established that there are a couple of different traditions, or maybe they've got an object that has been passed down in their family, or maybe somehow they've picked up a syllable from a word.
Hmm.
And they've got that to do that. How do you think you found your way into the circle of these people?
I think, I mean, I do have a rather functional laboratory. So maybe I just go out and buy supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm not actually buying supplies for because I need them, but because I want to talk to people. And I may go shopping for a certain kind of beaker or flacon or something like that and get to talk to just mainly to talk to people about what would be a good heat source and stuff like that.
One of the things being that once people kind of know you, they know that they probably suspect that you have a lab. There are probably some of these head people who will kind of hint around and eventually ask you if maybe you could. They've got a little bit of the raw material for smoked tonic that they don't have the supplies to refine it to be usable. And I imagine that, there's a some trades that you can do and helping people out that way. Uh,
Mhm.
so let's have you roll 2 dice then, I think, is your lowest.
Mhm. That's yes, okay, I roll with my thingies instead of my skills, right?
Right. The
Yeah.
lowest of those attributes.
Okay. I need to open the roll with me. I'm sorry I
No,
didn't
that's
do
okay.
that. I have a name.
I will eventually close mine by accident throughout this. So,
Okay. 2 dice, you said.
yep.
That's a 5.
So five. So five stress. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh, doesn't clear it all, but
No.
it does a significant job towards getting you in a better
Mm-hmm.
place.
Yep.
Uh, sigil. Uh, what do you want to start with?
I also need to recover some stress,
Okay.
and I think I'm going to do my office rat where I work for my employer as a way to indulge, and that also allows me to work on a work-related clock. And I'm still trying to free this innocent prisoner, so that's my plan.
Absolutely. So what do you think that involves? Is it finding a way to get them proved innocent? Is it about changing records around so they get released? Is it about finding legal precedent? Is it something else?
Think I think they're not like a super important prisoner.
Hmm.
So I think just moving paperwork around and changing records so that they'll be released, because there's enough of a bureaucracy here that it can happen without anyone realizing that this wasn't supposed to happen according to what was actually going.
So the stress that you're relieving is both the sense of doing good, but also like you being able to really show your craft of managing
Yeah.
paperwork and shifting numbers and doing that. There's a certain pleasure to that. Okay. I think your lowest is 2.
I believe so. Yeah, all of them
Okay.
do. Dice. And my highest is 3, as is my.
3. So what is it about it that like, I mean, that's some stress off, but that's just to cut off the top.
Mhm.
So what is it that kind of makes it not as satisfying as it usually is?
I think it is as satisfying. It's just that there's a certain stress related to doing this as well, because
Hmm.
I'm still doing things that could get caught somewhere and someone could notice it. I think there's a close call with someone who works in with the records more like as their thing. And I asked for some records out, and some of these were the ones I was intending to change, and some were others. And I returned them, and this person started like going through them and actually checking things. And I just managed to distract them when they were about to get to the one I had.
Right. Couple of close calls.
Yeah.
make that less satisfying. I think that is perfect. Uh, and then Halen.
I should work on the clock as well.
Oh yeah,
That's part of the same action. Um, or I get an extra action to do that.
yeah.
Um,
Do we already
so
have some ticks on that particular clock?
I
Three
have
ticks.
three out of six.
Well, let's go ahead and roll that then.
Yeah, and that's just pick an action. I think this is study the way I because it's like working with the record.
Absolutely.
Rolling two dice. That's a six.
That is a six. So it is a close call. It is a difficult thing, but how is it? What is it that you managed to do that gets him out?
Um, I think it's like an accumulation of a lot of small things, like changing the number of uh, months he's actually been here, changing some numbers for like work he has put in that counts towards his time or something, and some in some place I managed to add some. Oh, here's some extenuating circumstances that should shorten the sentence. That sort of thing. And then I think I trigger a review of like, yeah, it's time to, we should go through these records and check that everything's the way it should be.
And let me ask you this. Is this somebody that you've told you were going to help, or is this just someone from a distance that you made the decision you wanted to help?
Ooh, I don't remember what we've established. I don't think I've had much direct contact with them. I think it's the sort of thing that I bump into them. I think I bumped into them when he was like first incarcerated, and I thought that is this really correct? For some reason, I was looking at I asked someone and they said, oh, it was this and that crime, and it seems that doesn't seem to fit with what they look like or how they behave. And I checked things and it seems like, oh, there's something wrong.
And I imagine we get a shot of you kind of watching, and when, just to make sure that he is actually let go, that there's no nothing, let go, and there is a large group of people. His family is there, his extended family. In that way, that kind of real, honest affection and support and, a lack of blame and stuff that maybe it's not your experience with family that you will see, and they will, take him out, and you can see he is still kind of shocked that he is out.
Mm-hmm. And I think I'm standing. I imagine like up on the wall around the prison, just watching this happy reunion.
Perfect. So Halen, you have six stress. You've got some scrapes and bruises. Uh,
Uh-huh.
what would you like to do as your first downtime action?
I want to try. I want to like get the stress done. And the way that I normally do that is sparring and training with Selen.
Okay.
And I think what this looks like, and I'm actually adding pictures as I type or as I talk here. Normally we just get on the rooftops and we do, I mean, this sounds kind of silly, but combat parkour.
Mm-hmm.
So we are sparring while we're flipping and running and leaping across rooftops and whatnot. We're using chimney stacks so that we can, basically use them as a fulcrum so we can put more of our weight into kicks and punches. And when we spar, we're obviously not sparring with lethal force.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody starts to fall off the edge of a rooftop, we catch them. But beyond that, we don't really hold back that much. It's basically full contact.
Absolutely. The risk for overindulgence would be being spotted by somebody or taking an accidental tumble.
Or actually getting injured.
Yeah. Uh, so I think your lowest is a two,
So I'm rolling 2d6.
2d6.
There's
Five.
5.
So you'll just have one stress less. You are still running off the high of that whole kite wing descent from the cliffs there.
Who wouldn't be?
Do you tell Selin about that, or is that something you keep to yourself as a precious memory?
I think that's something that Selin might have mentioned and kind of asked me about a little bit. And I just grinned and said, hey, you know as much as I do. But it's kind of cool, isn't it?
It is. I'll have to get me a set of those.
Well, if you do, please let me know who you get them from, and I will acquire some myself.
Uh, let's come back to Stitch. Uh, uh, Stitch, what do you want to do for your second downtime action?
We still have a lot of heat, right? We need to take care of
Oh, yes.
that.
So close to getting a wanted level.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, we need to take that down a little. And I think how I'm gonna do that. What do I want to do here? Yeah, I think I need to use I think what I want to do is to pull heat away from us
Hmm.
by creating some. I mean, Helen had some funny ideas, I think, about blowing stuff up, and I don't want to blow stuff up like really big explosions or something, but just things that are noticeable in the vicinity of people who would maybe do something like that.
So you want to shift the blame
Yeah,
by putting the heat elsewhere. Okay.
yeah.
I like that. Let's have you roll wreck.
Okay. So 6.
A six, so that will take your heat down by three.
That's nice. That's a
Yep.
lot better, I think.
It is significantly better.
Okay.
So yeah, who is it you think you kind of shift the problem onto? Is it one of the criminals? Is it?
Oh, I think it's the Masters of the Cog. I have a
Oh
bee in my
yeah,
bonnet about those. Anyway.
absolutely. I think that there will be, you know, some reports that will rumors start to come out that the Tinkers are messing around with some kind of new, polishing powder or something, or that is flammable, and they're, that will be the word on the street that will kind of draw some attention away from your explosive exploits.
Yeah, I want a lot of noise, right?
Yep.
Like some loud pows that don't set anything aflame, hopefully, because I don't want to set a city on fire.
Yeah, no, you don't. You are with that role. I think you are absolutely able to do exactly as you wish there. Electra, what would you like to do for your second downtime action?
Think producing heat would be good, but I also need to remove stress, and I don't have any coin. Is that right?
I well, here's the thing. Actually, You did get an advancement for the uh, last time. So there is
Yeah.
the payout that you will have in hand. We didn't calculate that in, um, which I believe, let me see, I always have to look this up.
Yeah, but that's stash, right? Because
That is stash.
we did something with the I kept the magic book, right? So
Yep.
we
You could always sell that off.
hmm, yeah, we'll see. Uh, because we'll get stash. We have a crew advancement, and that's going to get us some stash, and
Yeah.
we'll get some stash if when we advance our tier, but advancing our tier costs a lot of coins.
So we've already spent the coin on the tier advancement. We already kind of took
Ah,
that
okay, okay.
out of the
That explains
calculations.
why I don't have it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that, yeah,
Um,
cool.
but I believe you get two stash when you go uh, with the advancement here.
Cool. Well, I'm going
Let's
to keep that. And um,
Yeah, well let's roll. I mean, you might clear out your stress perfectly, and
yeah, I'll do that.
okay.
Because if since this is a bit meta gamey, but since we're going into the last mission,
Yeah.
it's better to be clear of stress. Um, so I think this is now I'm going to the dance hall that we established early on.
Hmm.
Um, and I think I mean, I don't have enough stash uh, for my lifestyle to have increased, but I
Hmm.
think like I'm still have like bought one new garment, like a jacket that's not quite as worn as the one I had before. It's
Hmm.
still like used and so on, but I've spruced it up a little bit, so I'm a slightly nicer clothes than before.
Nice. Let's let's have you roll two
Yeah,
dice.
should I get a 5,
That
which
is perfect.
it is.
What is it about this that does kind of really clear the air for you?
Think it's just being back here after so long because it's been quite a while since I've had time, had the opportunity to spend time here because we've been doing our jobs and dealing with the fallout from that for so it's been imagine several weeks.
Hmm.
And it's just being back here, seeing some of my old friends and being able to relax with them.
I think that is absolutely perfect. Um, and we'll come back. We'll see if you want to spend a coin or anything there. Um, let's come back to Halen. Halen, what do you want to do for your second downtime action?
How many ticks of a clock does the healing potion take care of?
How many ticks of the clock does it take care of? Uh, it will take care of a roll based on your lowest. Essentially, it's a little bit like a stress roll.
Okay.
So a one will clear actually two ticks, a 4 to 5 will clear three, and a 6 will clear four.
You know what? Can you come back to me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Uh, uh, and I just want to say, you actually get three stash for when you advance this time. Uh, Stitch, do you want to spend coin for another downtime action?
Ah, there you see, I got to shake down Halen before I can do any of that. because she owes me 1 coin and I don't have any coin, and I owe Telda 1 coin, but I have 2 stash and now I have probably more that I might exchange for coin, right?
Yeah. So you just got 3 stash,
So I've got
and
5 and
and
some.
two stash will get you 1 coin.
Okay, then I will exchange 2 stash for 1 coin.
Okay.
And Helen, can I have my coin back, or are you still
100%.
cool? In which case, I will pay my debts to Telda with the
Okay.
1 coin, and the other one I will spend for another action. So I still haven't got any coin, but that's fine. Because I want to work on my project.
Okay. 4 out of 6 so far. So
Mhm.
how is it that you're working to like uh let's assume here that you found a place,
Mhm.
like, but what is the next step, like the last bit that you need to do to get it secured for yourself?
Yeah, I need to fortify it, like put in basic stuff like chairs and tables and some sort of water stuff and a little trap or two, maybe
Okay. So
things like that.
shall we do that with Tinker then?
Yeah, that was what I was going for.
Excellent.
Okay, let me roll this, please. It's a 5.
5. So that is 2 ticks.
Yay, I've done it.
Tell me, tell us, what does your new little homestead look like? Are you in a garret apartment? Are you in a basement? Are you somewhere in between?
I think
What
it's
what?
an old warehouse close to the waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, as I said, it's not just for me. There are other people who can come there, crash there, sleep there, do some kind of work there if they need the space. So it's pretty big. It is a rather empty space with like what do they call these paravents, the wrong screens, just like movable screens
Yeah.
that you can partition off some places. My own place, I have been a little nice to myself. It's like there was an office that was a little higher up, and that's where I have my living place now. I have a really nice bed. I This is the first time I had a really nice bed, and I'm very, very happy with it. Like I have a duvet and I have a mattress and it's mine, and then I have a little bathtub. It's not that little, well, that I can fill with hot water if I really want to bathe. And yeah, I will invite everybody from the crew to like an
Mm-hmm.
opening thingy. Just to show it off. I started to paint some of the walls and some colors. Um, yeah, it's not perfect yet. There might be a hole in the roof over there that needs fixing, but it's a house, right? You're always fixing something.
So do you think it's the hole in the roof, or were there a bunch of murders that happened here, or did it used to be haunted, or is it reputed to be cursed? Like, how was it that you were able to get this like in
Oh,
your price range?
murders and cursed. I love
Okay.
that. I
All
mean, I
right.
was looking for a place that had some significance in a spiritual manner,
Mm-hmm.
and there have been manifestations, let's say.
I think that's perfect. Yeah, you have a little open house. The crew can come. The doctor will come. And I think that works. Sigil, do you want to spend coin for another downtime action?
Um, no, I'm going to hold back. I want to keep my stash. It's not likely that we'll get to uh, level 1 lifestyle, but I want to.
I mean, we might need to lose some more heat, right? Just saying.
I still have
He,
a free action. So
Anders is min-max, so he knows that heat will only happen after the very last mission, and I appreciate that because that's what I would do as well. And you still have an extra downtime action for creating an asset. We still kind of have that
yeah,
out on the table.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm keeping that for when we know what the job is.
right. And then Halen, do you want to spend a coin for another downtime action?
Well, I still have that second one that that I haven't
Oh,
done
that's right.
yet.
We skipped over you on that. So do you want to spend that to do heat?
Well, since you graciously just pointed out that we're
Yeah.
not going to have to do that until after the last mission, I mean, kind of who cares right now? So, let's see. What do I want to do here? Um, I think I just want to work on like healing those injuries,
Okay.
without using
Okay.
the healing potion.
That seems fair. And I believe recovery is, gosh, it's been a while since. Let me look at the recovery action, how that's based on. The delight of finding things in a group without an index. Mhm. Downtime. Okay, here we go. Healing. Recovery is a long-term project. You have a healer, so you can either roll your own tinker or you can roll the 2 dice for your healer.
What is my tinker? I'm going to roll the 2 dice for the healer.
That that certainly makes sense. Let me check and just make sure it's done. Actually, yeah, 2 dice.
6 and a 4.
6 and a 4. So you will get 3 ticks onto your healing clock.
Okay.
I believe that's enough to clear you, isn't it?
Yep. I only
Okay.
had 2.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So that's done.
Yeah. Do you want to spend a coin for another downtime action?
Mm. I've paid Stitch back. You know what? I'm going to hold off on that because
Okay.
I'm probably going to need these coin for bribes.
There is that possibility. Uh, let's talk crew advancement. So your crew is getting advancement, which is why you've got the 3 stash, which means then as you advance, you get to do either take a new special ability or just an upgrade. Um,
2 upgrades, I think, if we do that.
that's right, 2 upgrades. Um, we'd talked before about one of these, right? There are a couple of ones that are good. There's the teamwork with any gang member, regardless of distance, is always a nice one. Uh, there's also the when you perform a group action, you count multiple sixes from different roles as a critical success. I believe that was one we had talked about before
Mhm.
as a useful one. Either of those strongly appeal to anyone?
I like the multiple sixes into a crit, but it's also we don't do a huge number of group actions, so it's not that likely to pay off. If we go for upgrades, we could do find demolition tools, if we want to do
That's
go
true.
more for the explosives. But
Why would we want fine ones when, well, standard ones do just fine?
well, fine ones counts as a tier higher. They're better. Don't you want better explosives?
I'd like more explosives. I don't necessarily care about better.
Has greater effect, greater potency if you decide to do that. So we do have a list of crew upgrades. We have those drop downs there. And then of course there's also things like the layer quality and training there. If you choose from the drop downs, you can have two of those.
There is this thing when you contend with supernatural threats, you gain potency and +1 die to resistance rolls. We've had a lot to do with these mages. Maybe we've learned to protect ourselves a bit.
Could certainly lean into that for the final mission too, if you wanted to
Mm,
do that.
Yeah, I like that. So we
yeah.
maybe have some protective spells, wards, whatever.
Okay. And I think in fiction, you've already talked to some people about this. Stitch has some connections. You've also got the demon eye
Mhm.
there, Electra. I think that
Yeah,
makes sense. Okay.
we got the book. Maybe we can learn something from
Right,
that. Well,
right. Yes, I was thinking about that too. And
What
you,
is what do you think is the thing that you learned from the book? What does the book give you, Electra? Do you pick up
I
the edge of a word, or is it something else?
no, I think it's more that we learn more about how they do their magic, like what their requirements are, which makes it easier for us to interrupt them or protect ourselves
Hmm.
because we know that, oh, they're trying to do this, then that means they have to do these things, so we can, yeah, we're better at stopping them.
I think you'll realize that when you're seeing them, most of what you're seeing, because of the word is so potent, your attention is naturally drawn to the fact that they're speaking, but they are doing some movements and other things that they have to do to kind of complete that now you're beginning to realize what's happening there. Um, that seems great. The other
yeah.
thing that you're going to do is you are expanding and you will increase the tier of your crew here. So you will be uh, getting your hold is going to switch to weak, but your tier goes up. Um, Before we kind of choose the crew development, what you want to take for that, um, what do we think that montage of the group expanding looks like? Clearly, you're getting more people, but what else do we see? Stitch, what do we see as well that tells us that your crew is getting bigger, more important?
Um, I think maybe we have this old clock tower, right? And we have it sealed up. But maybe what we also have is like an office, an outbuilding where we can meet people, where we can talk to people, where we can socialize with people, some sort of between a cafe and a tinker shop and stuff like that.
Yeah, you've got a little secret tunnel. We've already
Hmm.
established that there's some under tunnels to the clock tower.
Yeah.
You've got a little trap door in there. It's not much of a space. It's a little bit bigger than Electra's closet, but it's some space for you to hang out, have a couple of people in, chat with them, and look like you're reasonable.
Mhm.
Um, Electra, what's another thing we see that tells us about your gang getting bigger?
Think we're restoring a little bit, at least the rooms that we're using there at the top of the clock tower. Uh, like covering up some of the bigger holes in the walls. And we have some people there helping us. Um, so that it's not just us anymore. We have some other people who are actually supporting us and who like what we do and want to help.
I think that seems perfect. And where you really just had the doctor and maybe a couple of hangers on, now you've got a half dozen people that are there, kind of handling some day-to-day stuff for you. Um, where do you think you draw those people from, Electra? Is it people off the street? Is it colleagues? Is it revolutionaries? Like where are you pulling them? Keeping in
Yeah.
mind that your reputation is both honorable and I think the word is not subtle or reckless, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, reckless sounds uh, sounds like what we went with. Yeah, I think we're choosing people based on how aligned they are with what we're doing. So it's less about where they're coming from and their background, and more about, oh, they have done other things that are aligned with our goals. They're also fighting against the authority, which I think was our like long-term goal.
Yeah, that seems perfect. And Halen, what's another thing that shows us that your gang has grown?
Um, we now have a couple of actual clerks in that office who are people in the neighborhood know that they can come to that location and speak to those clerks. And if I can help them using legal means, I will. So, filing writs and affidavits and notarizing documents, and occasionally picking something up that's a little bit more serious and trying to help somebody who has a loved one in jail or headed toward the prison, or someone who's having a dispute with a company that's trying to force them out of their home. It's
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
public facing side of things where I can actually do some visible good that people can recognize.
I like it.
Gangs don't
Uh,
survive if they don't have the people on their side,
yeah.
usually.
Essentially, you are providing those services. So
Mm-hmm.
you get to expand from your layer. Uh, you could take turf. Turf lowers the reputation you need to go another tier. So metagaming wise, you don't want to take that. Uh, but we've got a list of crew development things there. Uh, if we look there, it's in that sort of row B, starting at, sorry, row 48, column B there. Um, basically, modifications to heat, modifications to engagement roles, vehicles. Um, you've got a bunch of different things there.
How many points or is it the ones we can get
You
the
get
the
one
top?
of those that'll be your new claim.
Yeah, cool.
But we can only choose the ones that have a one at the end, right?
You can choose. Uh, actually, yes, you're right. Because the first four that come out from your layer are those tier
Yeah.
one ones. So yeah. So -1 heat per score. a bonus to an engagement roll for a particular type, plus 2 particular actions on a site, or bonus coins, or essentially your doctor has his own vehicle.
I think like if this was a long-term game or we had more time, then turf or minus heat per score would be really good. But here I
Um,
think the engagement role is probably
Yeah.
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 The only question is what kind of job do we want it to be? And if we're going after that big bad and we're planning to kill them, isn't that kind of an assassination job?
I think it depends on our approach.
yeah.
Yeah. So the choices are espionage, rescue, sabotage, or sedition. So how about this? Why don't we, just to be meta for this, let's set that as +1 die for an engagement roll. We will fit that to that final job to give you that extra D6, and then we'll talk about what that claim actually looks like at that point. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Works for me.
Okay.
That's
So
very fair.
I'm going to copy that, drop it into this box up top. Oh, of course. Thank you. I always forget that when you do a plus, got to do that thing there. Okay. So we'll figure out what that is. Let's take our break to the hour. We'll come back. I want to give us each a chance to do some calls for a once around on scenes, and we can talk about what we might want to frame up as this sort of the final big job. If there's some elements that we can kind of assemble together on that. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay. So take 10. So I want to take up with our characters who've expanded some things. You've had these encounters with various things that that killer is still out there. And there's some other things that are still out hanging and exploring on things. So, Electra, let's start with you. Have you call a scene? Is there something you want to look into, or something we want to see Electra doing, or someone that you want to talk to?
If someone else has something they know they want to do, I'm happy to go later because I'm drawing a blank right now.
Stitch, what about you?
Yeah, I want to see with Electra about the book, if that's
Oh
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'll Stitch will come up to you and mumble a bit, which you probably know by now that it means he wants something, but isn't really sure how to ask it without being weird. Um, so
And
he's
no, go ahead.
um, um, hi Electra, do you want some tea?
Oh yes, absolutely. And I think Elektra is working on because she's a record keeper. So and now we're starting to have more people working with us. So she's started keeping records, but she's trying to keep them in a way that isn't if someone steals them, they won't be like able to figure too much out about us. So they're not in like they're in some sort of code or something, and yeah. So
Um,
she's a bit distracted, but she knows Stitch wants something, and I think her way of handling this is just to let him bring it up at his own pace. And if he thinks that having some tea is helpful, then she will have some tea.
yeah. So he'll bring you some tea and have some himself, and then he'll compliment you on your handwriting and come out about the whole thing at a really roundabout way, asking you if you have a thought about writing a book. And speaking of books, he tries to be subtle, but he's not very well versed in subtle. But yeah, you still have that book you picked up from the street mages?
Yes, it's right over here. She pulls it out and places it like very clearly in front of Stitch, without like not presenting it to him, but just placing it on the table, like table near him.
Do you mind if I have a look?
No, please go ahead.
I've been really curious about that.
I imagine there could be things in it that relate to your origin, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if it's that, but I've been a little around and a little fascinated with the whole magic things that can happen. And yeah, so I wanted to have a little look at that book and maybe see if I can figure something out that might help us. Um, uh, if maybe I'm a little forward or whatever the word is. I don't even know if you want anything to be done about your eye.
I'm not sure. I think I'll leave it as it is for now.
Yeah, but maybe figure out if it can do anything or might do anything because it's something. If you don't clearly understand it, somebody might use it against you. I'm afraid. I don't know if that's possible, but I think it might be worth a thought. But maybe you can use it, and maybe I'm babbling.
I'm not sure. I think it's at least its original intent is to protect against demons. So I think it would be difficult to use it against me, since, as far as I know, I'm not a demon. But of course, if it is a magical object, so it will be sensitive to magical forces in some ways. But yeah, from what I understand, it should at least be difficult for someone to activate it against me.
No, that's good to hear. I just wonder if you might want, even I could help you look into it. I don't know. I'm saying
Oh,
it's probably wrong.
absolutely. If you, I mean, I'm so busy with all this, and she like gestures to some people who are working with repairing the clock tower and everything. So, and I think you have a better head for magic than I do.
I guess that's how I'm built, maybe at least a little. Yeah. Okay. I'll make some notes and I'll show them to you. Maybe we can talk about that.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to.
Stitch, what is it about this book that resonates with you? Does it vibe with the energies that are within you? Does it click and put some things together to for your attunement? Is it that when you read it, you remember some things that you'd seen before? What do you think it is that when you actually go to look at this book, I mean, is the reason why your attunement is opening up?
I think it's a bit of it is actually the knowledge that that I have these feelings and flashes of insight, but I couldn't do anything with them. And the book helps me clarify stuff and clarify something that I've seen or memorized or have in my memory that I haven't been able to understand. And now if I look at this book, though, some of that stuff it just helps me put stuff together, I think.
And I think this definitely, you see, this comes from a different, like it has some weird other traditions other than the word magic stuff that are interesting and certainly seem to answer some of your questions.
Yes.
Halen, what scene would you like to call? What would you like to do? What would you like to look into? What would you like to establish?
Remember the person who deals in body parts that we talked to some sessions back?
Yeah.
I don't recall the name, but I want to track him down.
Okay. Let me see. I have it here. Let's see if I can find it in my notes here.
I don't remember how far back it was, so.
That wasn't Torgen, was it? No. I I have a name here, and if it's not the name, we'll go with it. Anshul.
Okay, that actually sounds right.
Yeah. Anshul Pitters.
Okay. So
Yeah, go down to the ghost market again, make your way
I'm
in.
pretty sure that I asked Stitch to come with me,
Okay.
just because, especially after what I've heard about with those mages and how one of them became two-dimensional. Is Stitch is really handy to have around. I mean, I've always liked Stitch, but like, yeah.
Come. I can come with you,
Okay.
sure.
So walking through those murky, misty halls, eventually making your way back to this shop. Uh, you arrive. There'll be the sound of the beaded curtain parting. And Anshul will come out again, and he will greetings to you too. I trust your efforts have been successful. At least so I have heard.
If that were us, I'd like to think that we were more subtle than that.
He stifles a laugh.
And I'll just grin at him.
I suspect that you'd like to think that. However, your reputation of your company does precede you these days.
And I just laugh and I say, "Are you always so serious? Do you not remember what a joke is?"
I I have been told I have a dry sense of humor, so perhaps I have misunderstood the comedy here.
That's
How can I
quite all
be of
right.
assistance to you two today? Or perhaps you've come here to shop. Master Stitch, I know that you shop for various ingredients and things. Perhaps if there's something that you particularly need for your work, I might be able to find something, procure something for you.
I'm not in need of anything to procure right now.
Ah, well, I hope that you're here to ask me for help rather than to leave me with threats as you did last time. He'll look at Halen.
Yes. I've been told that much like your sense of humor is dry, I have been told that my manner of dealing with people leaves much to be desired. That perhaps I could benefit from being more tactful. So, yes, I did not come here to threaten, or I came here for information in good faith.
Good, good. It is I cannot tell you what a relief it is that you did not come here to threaten me.
Well, you do not seem easily threatened. So,
We are at the crux of the matter then. Now, Master Stitch and Huntress, uh, what is it that I can do for you?
I'm looking for a murderer.
Okay. Any murderer? Are you looking to make a hand of glory or something like that? Do you want a hung one, or do you want something else? Or do you have a specific murderer in mind?
This murderer is not yet among those who could become part of your inventory. I would like to change that.
Once again, I will ask you to be more specific.
There is a murderer who was known to be associating with two mages.
Mm-hmm.
That is the murderer I seek.
Ah, the body thief.
One and the same.
Ah, well, you are just a hair too late.
Go on.
So here is the story as I have it. A week or so ago, there was an attack on one of the factors' households, and there, what people are saying is that there was an attack, was an attempted economic sabotage. Certainly, the counting house that he had there was destroyed, but as well, two mages, off the record mages, quiet mages, mages that would have brought him some embarrassment had they been found there, were present on the premises and were reduced to a fine red mist, as I understand it. Oh, sorry, not mist. I believe the word that was given to me by the person who saw it, paste, in the case of one of them. Master Sitch, did you have something to add?
I don't know. That's fine. Ignore me.
Oh, all right. Uh, what what it came out was that there was a third person associated with those two mages, this body thief, this alchemist of sorts, who was also present. And when things went terribly south, of course, a lot of people got involved, uh, including the Archon, uh, uh, and as well, the autarch of the city, as well as the mage tracers and so on. And apparently, uh, blame for what occurred has been laid at the feet of this foreign mage of sorts, and he has been taken to the Trinomos, the autarchs and mage tracers prison at the palace.
I see.
So
Mr. Pitters,
that is what I know. Yes.
kindly refresh my memory, but if I recall correctly, a hand of glory would allow one to pass through walls or enter places unseen.
Technically not. There are variations on the hand of glory. Some of them will allow you to pass by different spirits. Some of it will appear to have people's eyes pass over you. There are different kinds of things. Yes. Pass through walls? No.
Let me ask you this. If it were possible to retrieve that individual's body, what would it be worth to you? And in what way would it need to die to give you the most value for your money?
Your generosity is enormous, is legendary. And I appreciate what you were saying. But there is a saying in my line of work, and that is, you do not fuck with the autarch.
That doesn't seem to be much of a saying. It doesn't seem like the sort
But
of
it
thing
has
that a
a
mother
ring
would
to
pass
it. You would
down.
you would agree it has a ring to it. I, I would not want to be within 10 feet of anything that was the product of crossing the autarch. Because I am not a revolutionary. I am a merchant and I have to do my business here. You and your brethren have perhaps a different philosophy on your existence than I do.
And what if it were the case that the body could not be identified as coming from the autarch's prison?
See, there are ways for these things to get traced back.
I see.
The thing that you are offering me is certainly worth something, but not commensurate with the risk. Now, I am certainly one to sell items to assist or help you with things, but I would prefer my distance to be kept from something like this. If this murderer is someone that you want to get a hold of, mind you, I think that your best plan would be to simply let nature take its course, and I'm sure that figure fellow will be dead within a few months, unless the autarch decides to turn him and make him an agent. That's always a possibility as well.
And that is the possibility that I wish to avoid. Such a one offends me. His continued existence is a moral affront. And if it were to be the case that his sins were forgiven merely for bending a knee, then I should wish to be close enough to take off his head.
And I wish you the best of luck with that. And you can trust my discretion on this matter.
But since we're on the topic, are there any parts that I could bring you that would not be traceable, that would be valuable to your line of work?
See, this feels like a sting to me. Because last time we had a conversation in which you said to me very specifically that I should not indulge in the trade of dead bodies. And now here you are coming and offering me limbs and eyes and whatnot. My lady,
There is a
you make me
difference.
suspicious.
Mr. Pitters, there is a difference.
Go on, please elucidate.
I am offering you body parts from someone who has it coming, as opposed to body parts from someone who is just trying to do a job and get some food in their stomach so they can survive another day.
That is a fair enough distinction. And should there be a particular villain who is not stolen out from under the autarch's nose, then please by all means come to me and I will negotiate with you in good faith. If
Mr.
this
Pitters,
person is a murderer who has caused problems, and from everything that I have now heard, he is, should you require assistance arming yourselves, gathering your assets and so on, I am here to assist you. But beyond that, I would prefer my glance to be elsewhere.
Of course. With that, I will leave you with one final thought, and then we will be on our way. If you happen to hear of someone plaguing those of our neighborhood, someone killing them, please do let me know. Because it seems to me that we can both benefit from such a thing.
I agree with
can
you on
remove
that.
them.
Yeah, that seems more than reasonable. I agree.
Just if you need them dispatched in a certain way for a certain thing, then
I still
let
feel
me
like
know.
this is a trap, but a delicious one.
You'll
So
notice I'm
I will
saying
keep that in
murderers.
mind.
And as I understand it, murderers provide some very, very useful items. Whereas poor people just trying to get a meal, I don't see how they'd be quite as useful.
The logistical problem is what we actually need are murderers that have been condemned and hung. But we can work out the details of that.
I'm an attorney. I'm fairly sure that my condemnation would count.
You're an attorney.
Hmm.
I thought you were a masked vigilante.
Well, can't one be both?
Uh, Apparently not. I would have said no had you asked me before this day. Fair
Well,
enough.
let's
Keep me
keep
in
that between
mind.
us.
Keep me in mind if you have spare parts at some point. Master Stitch, was
Absolutely.
there nothing else, nothing I could do for you? Nothing you require?
No, not nothing of your items. Maybe I will come back to you later.
I know that you have been of assistance to friends of mine, and so you are friends of my friend, so I consider you a friend.
Oh, okay, good.
I'll give you that friends and family discount.
Thank you. I will wait until Halen has left, and then I will turn to him and say, look, you've been nothing but forthcoming, which is very nice. I will,
Are you about to threaten me?
yes, I am
Oh,
about to threaten you.
see,
Nah,
this is like the mirror image of last time where you left and she remained behind to threaten me. But go on, go on. I interrupted
I
you.
just wanted to remind you that Halen is a very vengeful person. If you wrong her, she will blow you up. This is maybe not a war threat, maybe it's a warning, as you are a friend of my friend. I invite you to feel it that way.
I will keep that in mind and keep my mouth shut.
I love that about you.
Many people do, but I'm not saying who.
I would I would be find it very strange if you did. And then I'm leaving as well.
Okay. Uh, Electra, I want to swing back to you.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing something with my rival, Nikita, who is a pamphleteer, but I don't remember if we've established much about the pamphleteers.
I think what we know about them, they are a small group. They the the autarch keeps tight rein on who has access to printing,
Mhm.
and they apparently have printing tools that they know how to break down very quickly and move from place to place. And while they themselves are not revolutionary, they are for hire as people who print things. They are also quite expert forgers, which is probably how you and they have crossed paths.
Yeah. Um,
Do you want to try
So
and track them down and find out what they're working on?
yeah, I think like we could work together. It would be very useful for us to have a good relationship with the Pamphleteers, um, since we want to bring down the autarch, and that having someone who can print stuff would be helpful with that.
So
Uh,
let's frame up a scene then. You ask around, on the street through your various contacts and things, and I think you will catch word of a place where your rival, and again, that is
Nikita.
Nikita, is likely to be finishing up from a move, and uh, you can kind of what's the word? Box them in as they're finishing up getting the last like sets of type and things put away, and clearing the site,
Mhm,
so there's no evidence left behind, besides splotches of ink and discarded scraps of paper. And I think the English phrase is to beard the cat in its den. He will catch them at just as they're about to leave.
mhm.
Nesbit.
Oh, Nikita. Think you missed the spot over there.
And she goes, I think you missed a spot here.
Actually, I hit it straight on.
Did you now? So, what is that? Just a little eye injury you've got there, patch? That seems unusual.
Wasn't quite intentional, but yeah, doesn't bother me.
Well, if it doesn't bother you, who am I to say? I was just heading out. Was there
Yeah, I can see.
something you needed?
Um, I was just thinking that there's very little reason that we shouldn't be able to work together. You know, you and I don't always see eye to eyes on everything, but
You're an idealist, and I'm a mercenary. There's a reason we don't see eye to eye.
well, we have access to funds from time to time that may find themselves over to you.
She sets her toolbox down, sits on the table there. Go on.
Um, yes, as you say, we're idealists. We don't sit on our money. We don't accumulate it as greedily and grubbily as some, not present company excluded, of course. Uh, and but we do occasionally get paid for what we do, and we like to put that money to good use. And one such use is well, spreading the message.
I'm interested. I'm interested. And I have a favor to ask of you.
Oh, asking favors already.
Well, something to perhaps grease the wheels, as it were, to
Mhm.
creating a relationship between our two organizations. Do you remember that spill that happened a few months ago?
Yes, I do very well.
You probably heard that sometime after that, there was a noble who was asking questions about it. Uh,
Hmm.
Parmatha Collins.
They have heard about that. Yes.
Well, he got arrested. And for some reason, uh, just this week, he has confessed to actually being responsible for the spill and having caused these problems, and that his investigations and statements were merely an attempt to distract from his own culpability and blame in this.
That's quite remarkable.
It is. There are people that would pay good money to get a first person off the record testimony from him. And I know that you in the civil service have some connections and you might be able to arrange a conversation with him, maybe get him to give you his statement, perhaps a clarifying statement.
Well, if he's, I have some connections in the Stalinet.
Yes.
Stalinet, how do we pronounce it? Stalinet? The
Uh,
prison.
the salinate.
Stalinet. And so if he's held there, then
Yes,
possible.
he's held there, though his wife and children are not there. They were taken to the Trinomos, the Artax prison, shortly before he confessed to these crimes.
Hmm. That would be a reasonable explanation for his change of for his for his for him suddenly remembering his culpability.
There are more details to that, but I'll leave that to you to investigate on that. But were you and yours to become involved in this matter and help us out, we would certainly uh, we'd look kindly on this as a business arrangement for the future.
I can certainly try, but yeah, I would assume that he would be unlikely to give a truthful account while his family is uh, guests of the autarch. But perhaps if if those circumstances were to change, he could change his mind.
You're more ambitious than I would give you credit for.
Well, that's hmm. That's uh, shows perhaps that you should extend your imagination a bit further.
I will do that. Certainly, I've heard that you and your organization have grown, that you have managed to maintain the favor of the people who have been above you, and that while you are reckless, you are honorable.
We try to do what's right, even if it costs us.
Well then, I look forward to hearing from you. And should you need anything printed, just give me a heads up.
I will do that. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. And I think we've got framed up. We'll do a little bit of legwork next time, but I think we've got framed up a task. Um, if his wife and kids have been taken to the Trinomos, they're probably being accused of witchcraft. That's probably the tale that's being put there. Um, and you will know that his wife is a foreigner, so that makes her especially vulnerable to that kind of thing. And the murder wizard that you want is also in the Trinomos. So I think next time we'll plan on going kind of straight to gather information, getting that kind of in play, and setting this up as our final job, because the Trinomos does have those mage finders and magical defenses there. So that, and this is a rescue mission. So you will get a +1 die to rescue missions for your engagement rolls. Does that seem cool? Uh, let's see. Well, just to do that, we'll think we won't worry about the crew XP, but let's do personal XP in case people can get advances here. Um, what Stitch is your uh, advancement XP question?
Did I address a challenge with curiosity or disregard for personal safety? I mean, I'd say argue curiosity,
Oh yeah,
disregard for personal safety. I mean, I didn't try to immediately cast spells from the book, so.
right. But yeah, let's give you a point for that.
Well, awesome.
And then let me find the XP thing here. I always have to find the rest of those questions. Uh, it's gonna kill.
I think it's express my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
Thank you.
They're on the sidebar, actually,
Oh,
in line
oh, right
67,
on. Yeah, that's
76.
smart.
Yeah.
So I think we certainly background. We get a bit
Yeah.
of that. Anything else you
Mhm.
think we tagged on there?
I mean, my drive, I completed
Yeah.
my thingy,
Oh
right?
yeah. So it's 3 points for completing that.
Eee,
+2, so 5 XP to distribute around.
nice. Yeah.
Uh, did you? We didn't have any problems with your vice, and you don't have any traumas, do you?
No, I can't get hurt.
Uh, Electra, you get 3 points for finishing your uh, plot. Essentially, you got that person out.
Okay, cool.
And what is your personal XP triggers?
Address the challenge by using your connections or exploiting the rules.
Oh, I
I
think a
think,
couple of times there. So let's give you
yeah.
2 for that.
Cool. Um,
Beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I think in this discussion with Nikita, I think like talking about why we do what we do and
Hmm.
that sort of thing. So I think
Yeah,
one,
we'll give you a point for that. Did you struggle with issues in your vice or traumas?
no,
You are also not traumatized out, so
no.
okay. Um, and then Halen?
Is that six total?
Yeah,
Was it? Yeah, cool.
yep.
Cool.
Halen, did you address a challenge with intimidation or bring criminals to justice?
Um, I certainly expressed the desire to bring a criminal to justice.
Okay, we'll give you a point for that.
And
And
I
I'll give you a point for the giveaway
to the
to the
body parts
person.
dealer.
Yes.
Yeah. Which expressing my beliefs, I think that that was a very clear indication of my beliefs. I
Yeah.
believe that that person should not live.
No, I definitely will give you a point for that. And
And
I think that was particularly
reckless,
reckless. So
yes.
let's give you another point for that.
And I think that does it with my XP.
Yeah. Stars, wishes, just a quick around, particularly if there's something you definitely want to have on scene, an ability or a thing that you definitely want to make sure we get on screen next time, in particular for wishes. Stitch.
But I can also do stars, right?
Oh, yes, please, please.
Yeah, stars all around. There was something particular where I was like, oh, I want to star this, and then I forgot all about it, obviously, because that's how I do it. But I had something. I think it was something that Elektra did. Yes, yes, I love the scene when Elektra got the guy out of prison. That was
Hmm.
really heartwarming. I really liked how that was done. So yeah, and wishes for next time. I mean, I hope we meet something that is kind of magical that we can attune to or hit or whatever.
All right. Magical, use a tune. Okay.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to be injured at least once,
Okay.
maybe.
I will work hard to injure you
Yes.
next time.
Thank you.
Halen?
So, first of all, Sabine, I was literally laughing when Stitch stayed behind to do the warning. And
Great
Lowell, a
scene.
star to you for remembering like how how our first visit with Anshul ended and calling out that mirror. That was particularly delightful, but I was literally laughing out loud here with that. So huge star for that. That made my day so far. Andish, I loved Electra's paperwork trickery. That was just, I think that Electra and Halen, if Halen wasn't so damn reckless, she and Electra might actually have kind of a meeting of the minds. But I think Electra is much more precise and a lot more subtle, which,
And less explodey.
yes, yes, very much less explodey. Um, fewer thing go boom. But I loved that entire account of like distracting the person just at the right moment. That was just delightful.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as things go next time, well, I'm wondering if I could drop a coin next time to get one more downtime action to train, because don't we have a
Yeah.
advance where we get train tick once, or like take we get 2 ticks for training as downtime?
You have not taken that for any of those things.
Oh, we don't have that. Okay.
No, no, that is not
Um,
something that you guys have bought. But certainly if you have
okay.
a couple coin, you could spend it to train twice.
Oh, God, and I do have 2 coin and I do have 4 XP from this session. So
Yeah.
yeah, I may need to do that at the beginning of next session.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise,
Excellent.
lots of fun.
And Electra.
Yeah, I enjoyed this session a lot. I come to really like these sessions that focus purely on the downtime,
Mm-hmm.
because it feels like everyone can relax a little bit and you can take your time with the scenes in a way that you tend not to when you're mixing the mission and the downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're coming out of the mission and you don't have a lot of time for the downtime, or you're planning to go into a mission, and that means you're also kind of rushing through some of the downtime stuff. So I really enjoy getting to take some time with that. I also enjoyed the family greeting the person who was freed from the prison. It's always nice to have those unequivocally positive notes amidst in the middle of all this morally gray and sometimes pretty rough stuff. So yeah, I like that. Um, yeah, Stitch's approach to asking Electra about the book was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun, and I really enjoyed watching Stitch and Haley going to the corpse trader.
Anything wishes wise?
Uh, no, it would be fun to continue this game for longer, but there's also there are so many games.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, yeah. I will say one of my wishes is to we have a contact that you established at the beginning that is in the Autarchs camp that I want to make sure that I remember to get them on stage because I think that's a useful resource for what you're going to do. Um, and we've got a mission that has two objectives to make it more complicated since you want to rescue some people and you want to blow up another person. So uh,
I mean,
we,
all of the missions that had two objectives went well. The only
yeah,
one that went south was the one where we're just having one objective, and we made it more complicated.
you're too
So,
focused. You've got
But
to spread your
yeah,
attention.
yes.
what if, just what if, and hear me out here, what if we had three
Oh God.
objectives?
Oh, I'm sure it'd be three times better at that point. So, all right, I'm going to stop the recording.